everybody, and welcome to our special called meeting of the board. Thanks for taking time out of a busy morning. We have some really important work to do today and some exciting work to do today, as I will call on the Chancellor momentarily for three important positions in our system: Cleveland State, the presidency there, and at the TCAT Harriman and the TCAT Henry Carroll. So this is an exciting morning. To anyone else who's on the line who has chosen to call in and listen, welcome to you as well. And a reminder to our regents, we are being live streamed and recorded for posterity. Have we seen Regent Stevenson yet, Mariah?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, I'm here.
Excellent. Good morning, Barry Stevenson. How are you?
Good morning. Doing well, thank you.
Good morning. Well, and I wanted to introduce you briefly to the board since this is your first official meeting as a regent. You all saw a bit about Barry's background. Of course, he's been appointed by the governor to fill the 3rd congressional district seat, along with a couple others of our members. He was recently confirmed in a hearing by the Senate Education Committee. Regent Varlin knows him well and knows that he is a great presence in the important Oak Ridge scientific community, where he is the president and chief executive officer of MCL, which is Materials and Chemistry Laboratory in Oak Ridge. Now, if his name is familiar to you, it is because he is no stranger to us. He and his wife, Lucy, have been very active at Roane State, where Barry sits on the foundation board. And in 2022, we recognized these great folks as with a partnership award at our SOAR Awards that year. Now, Barry, if I remember correctly, while your roots are very deeply in East Tennessee now, you have a West Tennessee background as well.
That's correct. I was born out in the country from Friendship, Tennessee, if anybody knows where that is, up in Crockett County. We moved into Dyersburg, which is on, of course, over near the Mississippi River, about as far west as you can go, and keep your feet dry. But I grew up in Dyersburg, got my undergraduate degree at UT Martin, then came here actually to be a teacher of chemistry and physics at Roane County High School, which I did for 4 years and enjoyed that very much. Got a chance to go into the environmental laboratory business at a time when that was just about the right time to enter. And fortunately, I've been doing that for about 55 years. But I've kept my connection to education, which I think was my first love, by serving on the school board for a few years in Roane County, and then subsequently serving on the foundation board for Roane State and also the public schools, city schools here in Oak Ridge. I'm on their foundation. So I have a deep interest in what this board is all about. And when Senator Yeager offered to nominate me to this position, I accepted that, and I'm glad to be part of it.
Well, we are even more glad than you that you have chosen to continue your service to education and to TBR. We thank you for everything you've done in the past. And we look forward to continuing this association. We will see Barry in person, of course, in March, but he's with us this morning, as I said, for his first meeting, so more to come. Thank you, sir, very much.
Hey, Emily.
Yes.
I just want to thank Barry for correcting the way I've been mispronouncing Dyersburg for all these years, so. Thank you.
Well, I'll tell you about East Tennessee, and Maryville is one of our proud cities here. So is Harmon. Okay.
That's great. And I love that line, as far west as you can go without putting your foot in the water. I may keep that one in reserve. That's a good one. Thank you, Miles. Well, with that, folks, we do have, as I said, some important and great work. To do this morning. Not sure of that echo. But Mariah, let me stop and you call the roll, Madam Secretary.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Since this is an electronic meeting, there are 2 questions that need to be answered by regents for the record. First, can the regent simultaneously hear and speak with others participating in the meeting? And second, is the regent alone in the room? If the answer to both questions is yes, the regent can simply answer yes to both questions. Anyone who is not alone should identify any other people present in the room with the regent. When I call your name, please answer these two questions. Governor Lee, Regent Apple,
Here and yes to both questions.
Regent Burdine,
Here and yes to both questions.
Regent Garten,
Here and yes to both questions.
Regent Gentile, Regent George,
Here, yes to both questions.
Regent Gill,
Here and yes to both questions.
Commissioner Hatcher,
Here, yes to both questions.
Regent Hooper,
Here, yes to both questions.
Regent Kastner,
Here and yes to both questions.
Regent Pilkington,
Here and yes to both questions.
Regent Powers,
Here and yes to both.
Madam Chair Reynolds,
Here and yes to both.
Commissioner Reynolds, Regent Roberts,
Here and yes to both.
Regent Stevenson,
Here and yes to both.
Regent Spurgeon,
Here and yes to both.
Regent Barlin,
Here and yes to both.
and Regent White.
Here and yes to both.
Madam Chair, you have a quorum.
Thank you so much. Barry, this piece may be new to you, but you will get accustomed to it in these electronic meetings. We have been asked to meet electronically to consider these three recommendations for the next presidents. And given the limited time between the selection of the candidates being recommended and their desired start dates for the position, the assembly of a quorum to be physically present simply is not practical. So given now that this necessity to meet electronically has become a routine and non-controversial item for us, I would propose that this necessity be adopted by unanimous consent. Of course, as always, if anyone would prefer to have an individual vote on the necessity to meet electronically, please feel free to object, and we will have a roll call vote. Is there any objection to the necessity to meet electronically? Hearing
No.
none, the necessity is adopted by unanimous consent. Did I miss someone's voice? I'm sorry.
I was voting no.
Oh, you would rather have a roll call vote?
I was voting, I have no objection.
Oh, thank you,
The
sir.
way you
Thank you
cast the
very much.
question.
Excellent. Thank you, Regent Stevenson. So hearing no objections, the necessity to meet electronically is adopted. With that important piece of housekeeping done, it is my privilege to call on Chancellor Tidings for her recommendation for the next president of Cleveland State. Chancellor, good morning.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board, and to say that I am beyond excited to be bringing you my three recommendations today for these three excellent candidates. As you've read their bios and seen their information, I know that you all agree that we've got an exceptional group coming before you today. And also extremely excited to know that we're going to have new presidents going into these positions in a very short order. I'm going to start today with my recommendation for the next president of Cleveland State. On July 13th, 2023, the board approved the search criteria for the next president at Cleveland State. Regent Danny Varlin served as chair of the Search Advisory Committee, with Regent Miles Burdine and Regent Tom White also serving on the committee, as well as representatives of the college's faculty, staff, students, and alumni. Local civic and industry leaders were also members. I want to thank all of the Search Advisory Committee members for their commitment and support with this search. After careful review of the applicants, interviews, and input from the Search Advisory Committee, Madam Chair, I am pleased to recommend to you Dr. Andrew White as the next president of Cleveland State Community College. Dr. White is currently the Senior Director of the Fast Forward program at Belmont University and previously served as Dean of the Business and Technology Division at Volunteer State Community College. He holds a Doctorate of Educational degree in Educational Leadership from the Rosser School at the University of Southern California, a Master's of Science in Public Administration from Central Michigan University, and a Bachelor of Arts in Political Science from the University of Tennessee. Madam Chair, this is my recommendation for our next president at Cleveland State.
Thank you, Chancellor. With that, can you guys hear the echo?
Sometimes.
Okay, I apologize. Anyway, well, not sure. My phone's not in here, so I don't know what the mystery is. But with that, an excellent recommendation from the Chancellor. Let me call on the Chair of the Search, Regent Varlin.
Thank you so much, Vice Chancellor. And I would like to say that Dr. White was one of 3 finalists chosen by the Presidential Search Advisory Committee from 63 applicants from around the country. We had excellent applicants, and it always makes me feel so great about the state of Tennessee because we have so many people wanting to apply for positions here. So the search committee held its first meeting on October 22nd. Then on January the 18th, the committee met to consider and select candidates for round 1 interviews. 11 candidates were interviewed on January 29 and 30, and as a result of the interviews, 3 finalists participated in campus interviews on February 13, 14, and 15. It is my sincere pleasure to serve as the chair of this search committee. We had such a committed group, very impressive group from both the college and the community who worked very hard to get through all of those 63 applications and to come up with a great decision in terms of putting those names forward. I support Chancellor Tyding's recommendation and make a motion to hire Dr. Andrew White as the next president of Cleveland State.
Thank you, Regent Varlin. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you,
Second.
Regent Burdine
Tom.
and Regent White. Thank you both. Any other discussion or any comments from our other 2 regents who served on the search committee?
Just want to thank Danny for her great work, and I look forward to the May the 3rd graduation ceremony where I'll get to be present at the campus.
Excellent. That's great.
That's great. I just want to say a little bit more. We really had great candidates, and these decisions are never easy. They each bring special gifts and talents to the opportunity, and I really appreciate the work they did, and particularly people that watched online, etc. And I feel so pleased to have offered this position to Dr. White and that he has accepted. And I think his wife is going to be a great First Lady.
Well said. Well said. Thank you for your leadership, Danny, and Tom and Miles for serving on the committee. Is there any other discussion? Well, with that, we have the Chancellor's recommendation, a motion, and a second. Secretary Perry, let's call the roll to appoint Dr. White as the next president of Cleveland State.
Regent Apple.
Aye.
Regent Burdine.
Aye.
Regent Garten.
Aye.
Regent George.
Aye.
Regent Gill.
Aye.
Commissioner Hatcher.
Aye.
Regent Hooper.
Aye.
Regent Kastner.
Aye.
Regent Pilkington.
Aye.
Regent Powers.
Aye.
Madam Chair Reynolds.
Aye.
Regent Stevenson.
Aye.
Regent Spurgeon.
Aye.
Regent Varlin.
Aye.
Regent White.
Aye.
The motion carries unanimously.
Thank you very much. Dr. White, you have done great work at Belmont University, but we are also proud to welcome you back to your TBR family. Do you have any comments for us this morning?
I'd begin by saying thank you, Madam Chair. I appreciate this opportunity. I appreciate the trust that the Regents and the Chancellor, Dr. Tydings, have shown in selecting me, and I'm looking forward to getting down to Cleveland and rolling up my sleeves and getting to work to serve the students and the faculty and staff and communities down there.
Excellent. Well, we are obviously excited for you and Jonah, and we have every confidence in this decision. So thank you for offering yourself for service to us.
It's an honor to serve my state and an honor to be a part of this system, and I look forward to doing it.
Thank you. Thank you very much. We will see you somewhere between here and Cleveland as the weeks go by.
That sounds great. Thank you.
Thank you. Chancellor, oh yes, here we go. Great. A round of applause. That's great. So very exciting. Chancellor Tidings with more coming back to you. Second recommendation.
Oh, thank you again, Madam Chair. Again, my next opportunity to bring to you is my pleasure to bring the recommendation for the president of TCAT Harriman. On October 20, 2023, the board approved the search criteria for the next president at TCAT Harriman and with a special call meeting. Again, Regent Danny Varlin served as chair of the search committee. She did double duty for us. She was doing Harriman and Cleveland at the same time and was physically at both of them. So again, we owe her a great debt of gratitude for all the time, energy, and effort that she has put into this. Also double duty was Regent Burdine, and then Regent Roberts also served on the committee, as well again as representatives from the college, faculty, staff, students, local civic, and industry leaders. I'd want to sincerely thank every single member of that advisory committee for their commitment and support. After careful review of the applicants, interviews, and input from the search committee, Madam Chair, I am most pleased to recommend to you today Christopher Ayers as the next president of TCAT Harriman. Mr. Ayers has served as vice president of TCAT Harriman since 2012. He holds a Master's of Arts degree in Instructional Leadership and a Bachelor of Science in Education, both from Tennessee Tech. He is a graduate certificate in Community College Leadership from East Tennessee State University and is in the dissertation phase of his doctoral degree from ETSU. Madam Chair, this is my great recommendation for the next president of TCAT Harriman.
Thank you, Chancellor. Thank you, Chancellor. As you said, another great recommendation. It is with profound thanks that I call on Regent Varlin once again.
Thank you so much. It was such a pleasure to do this search. That campus, I don't remember being on a campus where they loved their president as much as TCAT Harriman. I also got to go to a reception honoring her retirement, and I'm just telling you, she was beloved, which made it so pleasant to go there. And Chris, I'm going to talk about him in a minute, but he was an amazing applicant, as were the other 30 applicants. So he was one of the 3 finalists chosen by the Presidential Search Advisory Committee from 30 applicants from around the country. The search committee held its first meeting on December 4, and then on January 12th, the committee met to consider and select candidates for round 1 interviews. 5 candidates were interviewed on January 22nd, and as a result of the interviews, 3 finalists participated in the campus interviews on January 31st. It is my sincere pleasure to serve as chair of this committee. I support Chancellor Tidings' recommendation and make a motion to hire Mr. Christopher Ayers as the next president of TCAT Harriman.
We have an enthusiastic motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Miles. Any comments from Miles or Ross? Thanks for serving on the committee as well.
I'm just honored to serve and follow Danny. Did a great job.
You're so funny.
That's
I would
great.
like to echo what Miles said. I totally agree. Y'all, I'm sorry I couldn't be there on the 31st for the final round for the on-ground interviews. But I was hanging out with the Chancellor and Vice Chair Reynolds in Nashville, getting ready to talk to lawmakers. It was a lot of fun. But that was a great group of folks to work with. And Danny, thank you for your leadership in leading that. That was a wonderful search.
Thank you,
You're
Regent.
welcome. And I'm going to just say, Christopher Ayers, he is uniquely qualified for this position. The man has more enthusiasm. I mean, I can think of a couple like Kelly in Knoxville and, several others who are just, he's like a kid. He's so excited every day about everything he does. at this TCAT. And, I think they're going to be not only under great leadership, but I see him as being someone that people want to follow because he is just so enthusiastic and happy and wants to do so many things to take that school forward. So I'm very, very excited with the decision, as well as, I've known Chris for a while, but that TCAT's going to be in great hands.
That's great. And especially with big doings over there, right? With construction coming, and it's just an exciting time.
It is. A lot going on.
Also, a thank you to April for keeping us organized.
Oh,
we
yes.
always knew what we're doing. Thank you.
Exactly. She's
Nothing
tremendous.
happens without her.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion on the nomination of a recommendation, rather, of Chris Ayers to serve as the next president at TCAT Harriman? Hearing none, let's call the roll, Mariah.
Regent Apple.
Aye.
Regent Burdine.
Aye.
Regent Garten.
Aye.
Regent George.
Aye.
Regent Gill.
Aye.
Commissioner Hatcher.
Aye.
Regent Hooper.
Aye.
Regent Kastner.
Aye.
Regent Pilkington.
Aye.
Regent Powers.
Aye.
Madam Chair Reynolds.
Aye.
Regent Stevenson.
Aye.
Regent Spurgeon.
Aye.
Regent Varlin.
Aye.
And Regent White.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you very much. President Ayers, Regent Varlin has set you up in the best possible way. The floor is yours. Let's see some of that enthusiasm.
Thank you so much, Vice Chancellor or Vice Chair Reynolds. First of all, I want to just thank the Board of Regents, and I want to thank the executive team at the central office. Just excellent work by them, keeping it organized through April Preston. A big thank you to go out to Regent Varlin, Regent Burdine, and Regent Ross. I just now learned that they were doing double time for the last few months and how much time and effort they put in there. So I'm looking forward to working with Regent Stevenson. He means so much to the community. I can't say enough about the Board of Regents and what they've done for the state of Tennessee and TBR employees in my 24-year tenure. I look forward to working with all of you. But most importantly, I look forward to carrying on the mission of technical education in my region. I am very passionate about it, and the mission of the Tennessee Board of Regents for the state of Tennessee. As you can tell by Regent Varlin's comment, many people said to me, I have big shoes to fill. I will never fill the shoes of Dennis Turpin. She is a very important community leader and member, but I always have a mentor in my back pocket to help us move forward as a system, and I look forward for advice from her as well as any regent or any board central office executive team member. Thank you all again.
Oh, thank you, President Ayers. Those were beautiful remarks. And I just wanted to add, we will honor President Turpin at our next board meeting as well for her outstanding service. So your passion comes through loud and clear. Once again, a round of applause for Chris. Welcome aboard. I hope you have 24 more years in you. We're just getting started.
That was the deal.
According to Regent Varlin, I do. So we'll see.
Absolutely. That's great. Congratulations. Chancellor? Our last recommendation for the day, equally exciting.
Absolutely. It is my pleasure now to bring before you the recommendation for the next president of TCAT, Henry Carroll. On September 22nd, 2023, the board approved the search criteria for the next president at TCAT, Henry Carroll. Our board member, Regent Nisha Powers, served as the chair of the search advisory committee and did an exceptional job at doing so, along with Regent George and Regent Pilkington, who served on the committee, again, with college, faculty, staff, students, and industry leaders. I want to thank the Search Advisory Committee again for their great job and their diligence at looking at all of the candidates and coming up with the perfect candidate. After careful review, Madam Chair, I'm pleased to recommend to you Mr. John Penn Ridgway as the next president of TCAT Henry Carroll. Mr. Ridgway is currently the mayor of Henry County and was formerly a vice president at the college from 2007 through 2020. He holds a Master's of Arts in Education from Bethel University and a Bachelor of Arts in Public Administration from the University of Tennessee at Martin. Madam Chair, I wholeheartedly recommend Mr. John Penn Ridgway as the next president of TCAT Henry Carroll.
Excellent.
Excellent.
Thank you again. Regent Powers, your comments, please, and thanks for your service on this committee.
Thank you, Vice Chair Reynolds. Good morning, everyone. I've got something going on with my throat. Sorry about that. I want to say thank you for trusting me with this important task. It was my honor to serve as chair of the search committee, and I want to thank also Regent Pilkington and Regent George for being the other two legs of my chair, if you will, pun intended. So I want to say Mr. John Penn Ridgway was one of 3 finalists chosen by our committee, and that came from a pool of 22 applicants from around the country. And the search committee held our first meeting on November 2nd and then followed up with a meeting on November 30th to consider and select candidates for the round 1 interviews. And then we narrowed it down to 5 candidates who were interviewed on December 7th. And from that set of interviews, 3 finalists participated in that campus interview on January 9th. And it is my pleasure to give my support to Chancellor Tiding's recommendation and offer up a motion to hire Mayor John Penn Ridgway as the next president of TCAT Henry Carroll. And it is an honor, especially because of watching the members on the committee, and he is just beloved by them and the community, and it just comes across. So I felt passion on both sides from Mr. John Penn Ridgway, and also the passion from the committee and their engagement with the robust conversations we had. So it is my honor. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Regent George. A motion and a second. Any discussion? Regent George or Pilkington, any comments to add?
Since I still have my mic off, I just would like to thank Nisha for her leadership. It was an honor to serve on her team, and she did an outstanding job, and I'm fully behind the mayor being the next TCAT president.
Thank you, sir. Regent Pilkington?
Yes, I'd just like to say, too, that it was an honor being on this committee, and Nisha did do a wonderful job. And I think that the college couldn't have picked a better person for the presidential position.
Excellent. Thanks to you all. Nisha said for the trust we placed in her, my goodness, to do this. We trust you to the end of the earth and back. So thanks to you all. We have a motion and a second. Any further conversation? If not, Mariah, would you call the roll once again?
Regent Apple.
Aye.
Regent Burdine.
Aye.
Regent Garten.
Aye.
Regent George.
Aye.
Regent Gill.
Yes.
Commissioner Hatcher.
Aye.
Regent Hooper.
Aye.
Regent Kastner.
Aye.
Regent Pilkington.
Aye.
Regent Powers.
Aye.
Madam Chair Reynolds.
Aye.
Regent Stevenson.
Aye.
Regent Spurgeon.
Aye.
Regent Varlin.
Aye.
And Regent White.
Aye.
The motion carries unanimously.
Excellent. Mayor Ridgway, those might be the easiest votes you ever got. Welcome home to TCR and TCAT Henry Carroll. The floor is yours, sir.
Yes, ma'am. That's the easiest election I think I've ever been through, and I'm extremely humbled and grateful for the opportunity to honor the legacy and the history of TCAT McKenzie and TCAT Paris. and the history of the three counties and how that came about almost 60 years ago. But I'm so excited about the future of technical education in Northwest Tennessee. It's my true calling. I love the TCAT systems and the Board of Regents. I'm so grateful to come back and work with an excellent faculty and staff, and the impact that we'll have on generations of folks in Northwest Tennessee. The future construction is great, but the people that are here, I'm so excited about coming home in just a couple of months. I'm excited for working again with President Ayers. Congratulations to Chris. And I'll leave with this, Regent Stevenson, Dyersburg is a great place because that's where my wife came from. So I appreciate the Regents on here, and I'm so excited about coming back home to the Tennessee Board of Regents and especially the TCATs. Thank you so much for your faith in me, and we're going to do great things. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mayor Ridgway. We are going to do great things indeed. Well said on all three of these campuses. You guys, Vol State is up next in this process, and we've started work on that search, which will now be our only one going forward. But to everyone who has served on these committees and is serving on Vol State, thank you. Chancellor and I recognize that this is a heavy lift in the midst of busy schedules already, but we simply cannot do this without your participation. So a heartfelt thanks. The other thing that I reflect on as we finish this call is, as Danny said, it is so great to have so much interest in these positions and in technical education from across the country, and we welcome their interest in Tennessee and in our system. It is also great when we find our own homegrown talent, and that's exactly what we've done today, and that speaks well of our system and the state of higher education in Tennessee. So to Andy and Chris and Mayor Ridgway, thank you. For giving of your time and talent to us. Chancellor, before we close, any further comments?
Again, just thank you so much to everyone. Congratulations to these three gentlemen. I'm so excited to get to work with you, and I know that you're all three going to accomplish great things at your colleges. So thank you very much to everyone that's on the call today.
Thank you. Thank you for all the work you put into this. My goodness. So it takes a lot of your time too, and we are grateful.
Yes.
You guys, we will be together again next week, Tuesday, March 5th, for our committee chairs and audit committee meeting. So look forward to seeing you then. If there is no further business to come before this board this morning, we stand adjourned. Have a great rest of the week, and thank you all. Bye-bye.